I think this should be your bed. Hello. Well, today, finally, I get to rip off all of the melamine off the wardrobe and the dresser in the corner. And I have always liked this set. It feels like one of those Sharps advert sets, if you remember, in the 90s. But if you come close here, it's all peeling off. And this area in particular was exactly why I didn't want to keep it, because it no longer joins. And I wasn't going to paint, fill, because I think that little gap would always show a bit of a crack. So much to Mr. TCD's disappointment, because he hates painting, I'm ripping it all off, and we're going with this colour scheme here. So we're going for a beach breeze, which is a bluey green on both of the wardrobe and the dresser, and a pale duskyish pink on the walls. Now, I'm not an interior designer. I really do rely on the company's recommendations of what colour complements what. So they actually suggested that on their website, and it's Valspar paint. That's the pink, which is premium walls and ceilings. It's not the V&Co that we use in the living room. We decided not to go with that because I don't think the walls are that bad, but they are an absolute dead flat matte and they're very forgiving. So I think we can chance it on one that is £25 cheaper, well, ish. But for the furniture, I've gone for Valspar's premium multi-surface and furniture, which is that beach breeze colour. This doesn't need any primer, but because it's MDF and it's going to be very thirsty, I didn't really want to take any chances. I mean, none of this is cheap. And I've gone for Leyland's MDF primer. I have used Rustin's in the past. I think it's Rustin's, and it's just like a very watery PVA solution. I know you could use that if you wanted, but I need this to look good. That's why I'm taking a chance with this. I've no idea if it's the same consistency. It does say white, and it does sound very fluid. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off all the handles. Then I'm going to take your recommendation and use a heat gun to melt some of the areas where it's tough. But if you look here, I don't think it's going to be a hard job. It might just be very hard around the cornice detail. Another thing you said was to go very careful on the edges, because if I do pull it too much, it can take some of the MDF. So I'm going to take my time. Right, I'm going to get a screwdriver. Yeah. Come on, you. I'm having to use WD-40. It's like somebody's actually glued it. I still need to grip the angle, so I can't put too much on. Don't want to hammer it off. Oh, this is not funny. Oh, what's going on there? Oh, we have a bit of life. Now it's working. So I've popped the knobs and screws there, safe on the windowsill for now, but I don't actually want to reuse those. I've got to try and work my way around Mr. GCD because he wants to keep them and I don't. I'll see what I can do. Actually, another point, once I've painted it, it might actually make them look better in my eyes. I start on the looser bits of melamine, slicing with a Stanley knife and start pulling it away all the way around to what I think was being careful. Well, it wasn't putting up a fight until... I'm too short now, even step ladder. Oh yeah, it toughed me up. Right, I'm going to be more careful, look. Yeah, they're right. They are right. Okay, things haven't started well. I wasn't gentle enough. So it's taken a little bit off there. So I definitely have to be careful on the corners. Luckily, it was in an inconspicuous place, but this made me change tactic. Like use a Stanley knife on the corners and use a heat gun whether it looked easy to come off or not. And you can see, just with gentle passes and not spending too much time in the same place, the heat gun warped and melted the melamine, making it lose its bond from the MDF and became very easy to peel off. And honestly, this was a lot of fun and made quick work of it. Now onto the dressing table. Righty-ho. Then the plinth. However, this wasn't letting go so easily and seemed a totally different material and a nightmare to get off. And we had exactly the same with the cornice detail.
Is it horrible stuff?
But it left so much tacky glue behind, unlike the doors, that I had to thoroughly clean them with 2 or 3 rub downs of white terps paint thinner just to get rid of it, while I regretted my choices. So this job started well, but then became an absolute nightmare with the cornice and the plinth. I don't know what it was, but I think it was a different coating. It was definitely firmer on there and a lot more glue, a hell of a lot more glue. So I've had to go around tediously rubbing white spirits into there twice and then clean it off with a clean rag and use masks. That was just an awful job, and we have had a bit of a disaster. If you look here, luckily it's not at eye level, is while we were pulling it off, we've actually accidentally pulled the profile off there. And I don't think we could have been any more careful with it because it had a lot of resistance. Anyway, so right now I am going around keying the doors and stuff just to make sure there's no glue behind. As a touch, I can't really feel anything. Oh, and the other thing is, I have purposely left the end panels because I know it's going to be an absolute nightmare. This is chipboard coated. It's different stuff, completely different stuff. So the ends there and at the side of the dressing table, what we've already done is just use sandpaper just to key it down. I just looked from afar. Can you see there? It's a bit shiny. So I just thought... And if you're wondering, I'm using 400 grit. I know that is quite extreme. And you can see it clogging up. As Mr. TCD hates cutting in so much, I take on this job for the end panels while he works on painting the majority of them with Zinsser Bullseye 123 primer. After masking taping the mirrors, and this will be the only thing I'm masking tape because I hate it when it pulls off existing wall paint, I'll work on more cutting in on the non-MDF areas. So I've given the end panels one coat, we've left it for about an hour, Mr. TCD's given it another coat, and I'm going to paint these doors, which by the way I've masking taped them up and I'm glad there's only 2 mirrors there. And this is what the MDF primer looks like, which is definitely not like the rustings I used years ago. So I'll be using a small brush around the ends, and Danielle from Rediscovered by Danielle recommended these 2 Footy Bloke rollers, which are microfiber ones. I wouldn't have thought they'd work for a smooth finish, but apparently they do, so let's see what they're like. Right, let's give it a whirl. I start brushing on the routed profile detail around the mirrors and any awkward hard to reach places, then move on to the roller to remove any brush strokes for a super smooth finish. This really beat using a paint sprayer, and it was so easy to control, then roll over the edges. Although painting might have been easier around them if we'd taken the doors off, but we decided against it because we didn't have a lot of space to do it indoors and there was a risk of spilling paint on the floors. And the aim is to build up the primer, and paint layer later, in thin, even coats for a smooth, more professional finish. Once the first coat was dry, I gently de-nibbed it with a high grit spongy sanding pad, and the thin coats that I'd applied dried nice and smooth. Then onto primer layer number 2. But this time, instead of caulking at the end, which I normally do, and it becomes my least favourite job that I hate, I decided this time to caulk it before painting my colour. And you know what? Why have I never done it in this order before? It was far less stressful and tedious, so I am not looking back. So I've lost count on how many days I've been working on this because I've been very carefully keying the first primer, then put the other primer on, keyed again, and finally gone over any gaps with caulk before I go for the colour. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I have to say it was very tedious. It's the keying, making sure there's no drip marks and stuff. But these two Fussy Bloke rollers have been amazing. Now, I'm going to show you closely. I don't know if I showed you before. I wasn't actually sure whether they'd give a smooth finish because it's like a textured looking microfiber. But when they're covered in paint, well, it holds a lot of paint. And then as you're using it, it just flattens, completely flattens. And then it gives you a very smooth finish. And keying them has been a dream as well. So if you come over here, it's always very hard to show white on camera. But if you come here, it's very smooth. The way this coat looks right now, it looks like a manufacturer's job. Now the worst part is the cornice at the top. So I've just sanded everywhere I can, but I might have to fill that later. But I'm just going to paint it and cross my fingers that I'm okay with it. If not, I'll have to build it up. Oh, the other thing that I've absolutely loved about these is that with an HD foam roller, eventually it starts to tear up. These don't do any of that, but I am treating myself to a new roller for the new paint. I'm going to use these again for future. So all of the caulk should be dry now. It does say on the tube, paintable in 1 hour, but isn't all caulk like that? I don't know. Mr. TCD got drip marks on my paintwork because he was working on the top and I was working down here. I've realised I need to start painting at the top and work my way down. That way I can go over any drip marks myself. Right, let's see what this colour looks like. I don't remember us stirring it in the store. Wish me luck. Ooh, definitely wish me luck in this corner. I hope you can hear Hans. He's creating a fuss because I've had to lock him in the other bedroom because he keeps walking around all my paint. And he's absolutely furious because he's locked away. I thought you can hear him make a fool out of himself. So it's been about 12 hours since the first coat has gone on, and I don't really recommend doing this at night because I've gone back to it and it's patchy in places. It just tells me I do need a second coat. Can you do me a favour and turn that fire off? It's so hot up here now. So it feels like I'm really looking after a human being right now. I'm just being so careful. And what I'm doing is denibbing any slight bits that have gone into my paint with 2,500 grit. I know that sounds extreme, but that's all I need. And I'm feeling with my hand, like, yeah, there's a bit there, or there's a bit there. And I've done this in between coats, but not as high as this. Now, in truth, I didn't really know how the finish would look in terms of shine, because in B&Q, they don't have any little swatches for you to look at, which I think they are absolutely missing a trick there. They do for the wood stains, so it would have been nice to know what it was going to be like, but I've gone for a satin, so in between a gloss and an eggshell. The other thing is, because it's daylight now, it looks so much nicer than what it was last night, and I went to a meeting about 7ish, and I didn't have time to clean the paint off my fingers, and I got comments like, is your wardrobe really that colour? That's awful. And I thought, don't say that. But one thing is, I do prefer the colour on this side than where the dressing table is, because the way the sun hits, it's quite shaded over there. This is the price I pay when I'm too tight to buy sample pots. And it's not just that, it's an hour round trip for it. compared to what this looked like over a week ago, I'm very happy with the results. Originally, on the first coat of paint, I did think, oh my God, this looks very dark, because obviously while I was painting it, the natural daylight was disappearing. But I was warned this was going to be a nightmare, but because it was popping off, most of it, I think I had a lucky escape. But I've got two regrets. I really wish I'd not bothered taking the plinth one off, because that was truly glued on. It was a completely different kind of coating, I think. And then it left so much glue behind, I had to white terps it to death, and the cornice. Because if you look here, I did get a warning about how it could take some of the profile off, and yes, it did. Now, this is not at eye level. I did think maybe I'll fill it later, but to be honest, I'm probably not going to bother. It's not something I'm going to be staring at every day. But if you look here, look how professional that finish is, how smooth it is. And I really do think it's all down to the Two Fussy Blokes rollers. And I'm just so surprised. I would have used HD foam rollers, but I know they don't really last. But yeah, I definitely buy these again. And this has had 2 coats. I don't know whether I can recommend the paint yet or not, because obviously I've only just painted it on. It might not be that hard wearing. I'm sure some of you would say to put some sort of lacquer or seal on. But speaking of hard wearing, I am contemplating trying to get a glass top for here, because this is a surface that will get used a lot with me powdering my face. And the end there, you know, when you've got your alarm clock, maybe a cup of tea on the side of the bed, I might need something there as well. So I'll have to go online and have a look for companies that do that. Oh, and the pink wall. We decided to slap 1 coat on quickly just to see what it looked like in comparison. I must admit, this is a bit darker than I expected. Originally, we were going to paint this colour on the other walls as well, but I'm not convinced now. I like the idea of this being the feature wall with the bed, our existing bed. By the way, almost everything is getting reused. This is the bed that I got when I was 13. I've got some repairs to do, so nothing's going to waste. I do like how that pops. The other thing is, much to Mr. TCD's disappointment, I have ordered some goldish brass knobs to replace these, because I think it'd be a lot softer. But I think overall, once we've got the carpets in place, the pendant, curtains, blinds or whatever, I think it'll tone it down. I still think it's a little bit bold. It's bolder than I was anticipating, but I do really like it. It's really lovely and fresh. Also, I think I'm going to be making a similar side table, or I'll find something on Facebook Marketplace. And you can see this is a double bed with 1 double socket there. So next week's job is to chase a cable here and have one on this side so it's symmetrical. And then I think we'll probably have one around there or there, don't know yet. And Mr. TCD wants one up here somewhere for a TV. Isn't watching TV in bed a bit uncouth? Anyway, so far the total cost of updating the wardrobe and the dressing table is about £65. If we replaced this entirely from one of those Sharps type fitted wardrobes companies, I think it would have been in its thousands. So I think we've done a really, really good job. I'm so happy. And if I don't like the colour later on, I can change it. I've already done most of the prep. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below. Let me know what colour you would rather have it. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.